So that being said, we're going to go ahead and segue over to, the preview for this week's action, the championship round. So this will be really quick. Obviously, there are only 2 games.
Yeah.
I want to start by asking you first, because I heard this posed on another podcast. What is the best possible, from a fanship aside, what is the best possible game here for the Super Bowl? I know there's not 1,000 combinations, obviously, but what would be the ideal game if you didn't like any of these teams?
I think the Bills, and I'm not just saying because I'm a Bills fan. Because, you know how wild they get in Buffalo. They made the playoffs and everyone was, losing their minds last year. Imagine if they made a Super Bowl and or won one. Josh Allen has even gone out and said that he'll jump through a on-fire table if they win the Super Bowl. So we have that to look forward to as well. And I just think, the Chiefs did it last year. So it's we'll just see something again. When was the last time we saw the Bills win a Super Bowl?
I will say, though, the Chiefs are a little different in terms of they have a very special offense. Where, a lot of teams that repeat, a lot of those early Patriots Super Bowls, the Patriots weren't scoring more than 20 points. So, I would get why somebody wouldn't want to, be like, I think story-wise, though, the best would be probably Tampa and the Bills. I heard somebody else say that too, and I was really
just because the Bills would be the first time since they're 4 in a row they lost, first time they're relevant, they have the young quarterback who might actually get it the first time, and at the same time Tampa Bay Tom Brady one last shot at it on a new team.
I would be very scared of that if I were the Bills.
Yeah, we'll see.
Tom Brady has owned your division, and now he leaves your division and still owns you outside of your. That was the ultimate This is the only game he could possibly own you in, too. So this is the...
What is 199 yards and 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, I don't know. I still think a Mahomes-Rodgers battle is probably... And I say this as somebody who's watched a million Chiefs game in person and is a Packer fan. But I still think that's the most, quote-unquote, electric matchup.
Nah, Packers-Bills. You have the young GOAT versus the old GOAT.
Patrick Mahomes is better than Josh Allen.
He's the young GOAT, though.
He's not. They'd both be.
They call him the kid, a baby goat.
Yeah, okay. This isn't we don't need to spend 2 hours on this. I
think we do.
No, I was just asking for your 2 cents. You think Tampa
story-wise, Tampa and the Bills, but I think the one I'd like to see the most would either be that or them against the Packers.
Well, that's okay. I was gonna say you're a Bills fan, so that means that you obviously want to see the Bills, and you're I'd want to see one of them versus the Packers or Bucks, which that has to be one of those 2.
Just saying.
Okay. All right, so let's which game is first? Actually, I have no idea. Packer game is at 2:05. I don't know if that's Central.
Yeah, I assume so.
2:05. So, and that's in Lambeau. The Packers do have some fans. For what it's worth, Aaron Rodgers kept talking about how excited and emotional he was to be playing in front of fans again, so take that for whatever it is.
You can be emotional. It's all right.
I think if you listen to our prior segment, I think the Packers are going to win this game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily think it's going to be a blowout, but I would not be surprised by 10 points.
Yeah.
That seems about right. Tom Brady and the offense have just not been looking sharp, and it's the thing because of how good their offense is, the names on it, I keep wanting to tell myself, they're going to be better this week. They're going to be better this week. And they're just not. They haven't actually been ever better.
Yeah, I don't care what your name is. If you get 3 receiving yards last week, Mike Evans, it's how are you going to fear that guy?
Well, in the red zone, I fear him, but not too much outside of that at this point.
No, exactly.
And under a different circuit last year, I would have feared him a lot. But I think that I was also nervous about David Bakhtiari going out, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I'm a lot more encouraged seeing that. They survived the Rams without giving up very much pressure. And so I feel like they should hold up pretty well against Tampa's defense, even though, obviously we know what happened the first time around. But I think the offense is going to look a lot better. I think we're a lot better team than we were then. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think Tampa they have not looked impressive. Mm-hmm. And even at least even if the Packers don't necessarily look super impressive, they're less impressive, or they're not. Them looking unimpressive is a lot more impressive than Tampa Bay's unimpressive.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense at all? So I'm taking a Packer win. I'm assuming the line's probably 6.5.
Oh,
you don't have to look it up if you don't want to. What did you have any thoughts about this game? Again, I'll let you talk more about the Bills.
Basically the same thing. I think the running game on the Packers is just as good, if not better. probably better, if we're being honest. And at the same time, I think that the passing game is significantly better on the Packers' end than it is their end. While Tampa has the better defense slightly, I'd say it isn't enough to. I think Rodgers is significantly better than Brady, even though the stats might look similar. I think he's significantly
And a
better.
big thing to note too is even with a better defense, Rodgers does not turn the ball over.
No.
So even if they're not scoring as many points, he's not going to give the ball up like Drew Brees did last week, or I don't remember this.
No, exactly. You win by 10.
Heineke probably gave it up. I don't remember.
You win by 10 with 3 turnovers. Rodgers isn't going to give you those turnovers.
And that's as a fan of a team, I used to love Brett Favre, but it is so nice not having to worry about a dagger interception at all times.
Every other play.
Yeah. I love Brett Favre to death. But it was, and that's what made him fun, was that he would just throw it up there. But it's nice knowing that your guy's never gonna turn it over. So
right now, Packers 3.5 point favorites.
oh, that's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd take the Packers here. I was somehow, I know I told you off air here, but I was somehow able to get the Bucks in the first quarter of the Saints game last night, plus 1,000 to win the Super Bowl. So I did put a little money on them just because, and by a little money, I mean a very little amount.
What,
of money.
$2?
Yeah.
Hey, you might win 20. You might win that 18 and make it into 20.
I know.
Following that one, though, at 5:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, we do have the Bills and the Chiefs, America's team, going up against the Super Bowl champion.
I'm excited for this.
In Arrowhead Studio. I'm expecting a shootout with very little running. At least that's what I'm hoping for, because the Bills are simply unable to run the ball.
Which that's not good against a team that scores a lot.
No. The last game they played, the Chiefs won pretty easily. But again, that was in a downpour, so it essentially turned into running the ball.
Who runs the ball
Who
better?
could run the ball better? And
Not the Bucs.
we all know the answer to that one. It's definitely not the Bills. So this one, if the weather's clear, which it should be, would be, I think, a much better game. Right now, I'm expecting a shootout, and right now the over is 53.5, which is 26-27-ish, give or take. The line's 3, though, so I guess not that.
I think a lot of it
28-26.
There are a lot of unknowns here still. We don't necessarily know the status of Mahomes. I mean, technically, for all we know, because nothing's been, confirmed, he could not play.
Yeah, and
he did injure his toe before he went out as well, and he was limping around.
let me tell you, as a Bills fan, I'm okay with that if he doesn't play.
Oh, come
I'm
on!
gonna say it. I'm okay with him not playing.
That reminds me of. I hate to tell stories about other people, but stupid Big Cat from Barstool. He, I remember him tweeting. I think it was 2 years ago on the Packers opening game. It was the Packer Bear Monday Night Football or Sunday night. I think it was the first Sunday night game.
It was probably something stupid.
And so the Packers were, I think, winning, or it was really close. And then Khalil Mack or somebody threw Aaron Rodgers down, and it looked like he was going to go out in a cart. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, "Oh, this sucks. I want to beat them straight up. This is stupid. I want Rodgers in there so we can beat him." And then Rodgers ended up coming back from the huge deficit and beating them. And I just remember how angry he was. It just reminded me of that, because you were like,
I'm not gonna be mad.
No, if he doesn't play, you're like, "Oh, I wish he would. I want to beat him with Mahomes to prove how good we are," and then he'd come back and smoke you.
At the same time, I think if the Bills do get past the Chiefs, regardless of Mahomes being there or not, they'll win the Super Bowl. I think whoever's coming out of the AFC is going to win it. But yeah,
I think we're sleeping on how good the Packers are.
Oh no, they're easily. It's not easily, but they're good. I'd say right now it's a 60-40 in favor of Chiefs if Mahomes plays, but anything could happen with Josh Allen. The line is 3.5 or -3 for Kansas City. Obviously,
I would be a lot more scared to play the Chiefs. I'm sorry to tell you. If I'm like this, if we win, if we beat Tampa, I would be a lot more nervous. I would probably be cheering for the Bills.
That's right. The Bills, they're known for being underdogs. They circle the wagon. But it's gonna be a good game at least. At least I hope it is. Two good offenses. Neither team has. I guess the Bills have a better defense, but neither team's defense is elite by any stretch of the imagination. But if the defense could hold them to 3 points or hold them to few points like they did the Ravens' red-hot offense, then maybe they could do that to the Chiefs as well. And we'll see. It's at least going to be exciting.
They're red-hot offense. Anything with Lamar at the helm, I don't feel confident about. But that being said, no, I still think the Chiefs win this. I just think if you match up their offenses, I think the Chiefs is still relatively superior.
Yeah. I mean, just look at they have Travis Kelce compared to Dawson Knox.
Somehow the defense of the Chiefs, and it's not really doesn't seem calculable. Calculable. They always seem to step up in big spots. Like they might be garbage for a while, and then like right when they need to stop, they seem to somehow get it. I don't know.
The Bills' defense though has improved a lot since the beginning of the year. At the start of the season, they were horrible. Like they gave up, I think it was 24 to the Dolphins.
Yeah, it was
the Dolphins
really
weren't
weird
good at the start of the year.
It was really weird what happened with them.
But then they held the Baltimore to 3 most recently. So
I'm gonna pick the Chiefs, but I do think it's gonna be a very hard fought game. Like nobody's gonna get blown out here. And I think both teams are really good. I would just argue that when the Chiefs are right, they're probably the best team I've ever seen in my lifetime. So that's not even a slight to Buffalo.
I just gotta pray that they're wrong. That's what I gotta pray. They can't be right this week.
Anything can happen. I know it hasn't really happened yet, but I'm still low-key nervous about a Josh Allen big turnover. And he should have done it last week? He had another fumble?
Yeah, that one really wasn't his fault.
2 weeks in a row, he should have had
He got hit by like 3 guys on one play. It's like, how did these 3 get
each time that happens, it's in a really bad spot. Like, if the other team would get the ball, like, oh, no.
No, it was fumbles the ball and it gets kicked. And they literally have like 2nd and 34 or something. It's like, oh, geez. Like, now what? But, yeah, it's always in a bad spot.
I'm worried that there's going to be a Honey Badger interception that just is disastrous for the Bills. But what's the line for this one?
3 points.
Obviously the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe probably. No, I'm saying it's 3 points in the Chiefs.
Oh
favor.
yeah. I thought you were saying you were taking the Chiefs. I was like,
I would take the Chiefs, but I bet they're obviously the favorites. I don't even know. Both these games feel stay away-ish to me.
Oh yeah.
But
actually no, the Packers isn't, but this one is.
I feel better about the Packers, but I still think the Chiefs are going to win. I'm relatively confident.
Yeah, I'd say it's like a 60-40. You might say that's pretty close, but that's a 2/3 different or a third difference. So I assume the Chiefs will win, but the Bills' offense is good and their defense is good enough where they have potential to win.
I googled Bills Chiefs, and so you know how on Google it does the top stories. Here, and one of them is David Carr. Bills have very good chance of upsetting Chiefs. Like,
thanks, David.
Is that real analysis?
Yeah, thanks, David. I appreciate that insight, bud. Yeah, you know what? The Bucks also have.
What kind of analysis is that?
You know, the Bucks could also beat the Packers theoretically.
Yeah, it's like thanks. You know, I mean, what's very good chance mean? 51%.
Yeah,
I don't know what very good means to him, but
I'd say for a 14-2 team, technically 14-1 with Mahomes, or I guess one playoff game, 15-1 with Mahomes this season. Like, I'd say a 20% chance against that's a really good chance, all things considered.
I just want to say shout out to Andy Reid for going for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
Especially out of the shotgun and before the end of the play clock.
Yeah.
They hiked it at 6. That's freaking awesome, and I don't know why more teams don't do that. But anyway, that's
another thing to note is the importance of good coaching. I mean, I'd argue that Arian Foster is not very good at coaching.
Arian Foster?
Jeez. Bruce Arians, excuse me. Bruce Arians isn't a great coach. But LaFleur, Andy Reid, and Sean McDermott are all really good coaches, and it's no coincidence that they're 3 of the top 4 teams. The other one has arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and 3 fantastic receivers.
Arians is the fun coach.
Yeah, he's
anything can happen in any given play. Yeah, he's the Taysom Hill of coaches. Anything can happen.
You mean he's not good at anything?
It just it means that it's like boom or bust. Like you're either probably going to have a wild interception or a fumble, or you're going to have some stupid long run that results in something good. Just
probably.
Or in Arians, it's a 40-yard bomb that gets intercepted, or an 80-yard touchdown. Usually one of the two ends. But that's going to wrap up our preview here.
What a preview.
I know. Brandon's going to have some more, and I'm going to use quotes because he failed us the first week.
I don't call it quotes
because
that's
money.
What the section's called. It's called free money.
Yeah, but it's not free money because nobody's winning money.
If you did that Cam Akers bet you did.
Yeah, what about the other 3?
Irrelevant.
We'll be back this Wednesday. Still trying to decide what we're going to do. We might maybe do a little Dynasty this week. We'll see.
Ooh.
Maybe we'll save that for after the season. We'll figure something out. But we'll be back on Wednesday. We'd like to thank everyone for listening. 2 more weekends of football left.
It's very sad.
Cherish, friends. Cherish.
And like we said last week, we live in Iowa. We got nothing else.
Mm.
That's all we got.
Well, actually, I mean, one could argue that we have more to do than California.
No,
At least we're not shut down.
Fine, well, that's all they got too then. Like,
yeah, this is kind of the moment where you can kind of
This is
laugh
all
at other
anybody's
people.
got.
Like, California paying high taxes for what? To be forced to be inside? Even though that's all the only place I go. But I'm not forced to.
nice.
Yeah. But we'd like to thank everyone again for listening. We'll be back later this week. Enjoy the rest of your evening, afternoon, morning, wherever it is that you're at. And we'll talk to you soon.
And just leave a like if you like the video. It's that simple.
If you don't, just don't dislike it. Just go away.
Yeah, I wouldn't dislike
Subscribe and don't.
it. Or make a really mean comment about how dumb we are.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Goodbye.